Some betrayals break your heart. Others light a fire that burns down someone's entire life. What? It started with a sticky note, and ended with a man losing his wife, his job, his home, and every shred of dignity he had left. If you've ever been betrayed so deeply that you wanted to destroy someone, but do it by the book, no lies, no illegal moves, just pure, cold justice, hit that like button. Today you'll hear how patience, planning, and a little help from the right people turned betrayal into the sweetest victory. Early 2000s. My wife and I had been married long enough to have 2 kids, 4 and 6. We weren't rich, but we were stable. Or so I thought. The first signs weren't obvious. Little mentions from the kids about spending whole days at my in-laws. That wasn't unusual on its own, but they lived an hour and a half away, and apparently my wife was taking them there 2 or 3 times a week on her days off. My gut told me something was off. She brushed it off with a smile when I asked, but she was a terrible liar. That's when I started tracking the mileage on her car. Every Monday morning I'd jot down the number. By Friday she had racked up hundreds more miles than made sense. An extra 400 miles a week. She thought she was being clever. She had no idea she was planting landmines under her own feet. Then came the day I sat down at the family computer. There, stuck to the monitor, was a yellow sticky note, her AOL password written in her handwriting. I stared at it for a good 30 seconds, my heart pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. I wish I could say I hesitated, but I didn't. The inbox opened like Pandora's box. There they were, emails between her and her old college friend. Laughing about how she'd been hooking up with one of her high school ex-boyfriends. Mocking his wife for getting fat after kids. Every line burned into my brain. I printed them all, slid them into a folder, and hid them away. But I wasn't done. I wanted everything. I called a friend on the police force. He put me in touch with a private investigator named Ron. Former cop. Calm voice. The kind of guy who could dismantle someone's life without ever raising his voice. I paid his retainer, gave him the emails, and waited. When Ron came back he had gold. Dates. Times. Photographs. My wife dropping the kids at her parents'. Lunch with him. Then straight to a dumpy motel for a few hours. Then, like nothing happened, picking up the kids and driving home. That was it. I knew I'd be divorcing her, not because of my pride, but because I'd seen what cheating did to a family. My parents had done it to each other. It wrecked my childhood. I swore I would never let my kids grow up in that same shadow. But before the papers went through, I wanted to know exactly who this guy was. Ron came through again. His name was Bob. Married. 3 kids. Vice president of sales for his father-in-law's company. Lived in a house owned by his wife's parents. Every piece of information clicked into place. He was standing on a pile of things that weren't really his. And I was about to kick it out from under him. I had my divorce lawyer draft the papers. Ron prepared multiple copies of his report. One Tuesday afternoon while my wife was at work she got served. Right there in front of her co-workers. Meanwhile, Ron drove across town to Bob's wife. He handed her the entire dossier. Photos. Dates. The truth. Her face went pale. Her jaw clenched. I didn't tell her what to do. I didn't have to. The fallout was biblical. Bob's wife didn't just kick him out. She nuked his life. Emptied their joint accounts. Took the kids. Filed for divorce. When her father found out what Bob had done, Bob was fired on the spot. The house. Gone. Evicted within weeks. It didn't stop there. Court documents showed their divorce was ugly. Screaming matches. Fights that spilled out into the driveway until her brother broke Bob's nose. Restraining orders. Arrest. Jail time. From VP of sales in a cushy family business, to a man with no wife, no kids, no job, no home. Last I heard he left the state, probably hoping no one remembered him. But I do. As for me, I kept my word. I never used my wife's infidelity as ammo in the divorce. The law didn't care much about it. I focused on the kids. We were civil until they were grown. Now, I don't speak to her at all. I don't hate her, she's just a chapter I've closed. And Bob? He built his life on lies. All I did was pull away the curtains so everyone could see the rot. Bob thought the rules didn't apply to him. That he could sneak around, take what wasn't his, and face no consequences. I never raised my voice. Never broke a law. I just handed the truth to the right people, and watched his entire life collapse. No screaming. No chaos. Just cold, methodical justice. In the end, the most powerful revenge isn't about breaking someone, it's about letting them break themselves when the truth comes out. And Bob? He handed me all the pieces I needed. If that ending gave you chills, hit that like button. Drop your most satisfying lawful revenge stories in the comments, and subscribe for more tales where justice is served cold, calculated and oh so sweet.